Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. This one's going to be a little bit different because what we got is my controller here that you're looking at, my favorite controller. I believe the battery has gone poof. So, as we can see here, I have a nice brand new shiny one. This is what we're going to be installing. Now, since this has a internal battery, there's no place to just pop off the back, as you can see. Now, I'm going to try my best to keep this in frame, but this is a little difficult with the way I've got it set up. So, first and foremost, what you're going to need is inside, it's got those security screws, hex keys, kind of like this one where it's got the hole in the middle. I know that's not showing you real good. Let me see if I can get it to focus better with this. But yeah, it's going to be screws like this with the hole. Oh, there we go. With the hole in the center. So in case I don't have the size here in this, I also have a kit here full of them and other whatnots. Now, to get your cover off, I recommend these. The Lego piece separators. That end right there works really good for separating stuff like this. Now, I've got multiple because we do a lot of Lego. So I'm trying to find the one that's got the best. Well, I mean, we've worn these out. So I'm going to use that one. And of course, we'll have to have regular screws also and a pair of tweezers, because what I'm also going to do, I'm going to try to shorten up the throw on these two buttons to make them a little more reactive with your button pushing. So first, you need to pop off your joysticks and take any D-pad configuration that you have off. Now, where I have found this to work the best at, now let's see if I can actually learn how to do this in camera, is right here. Somewhere right in here, once you get that first pop off, you see how it then popped. Just hold your finger under it and then move over to the side just a little bit more, and you will get a separation. Now, the first time you pull one of these controllers apart, it's going to be a lot tighter because they also put glue on it. Now, from that point, you just work yourself around. Once you get it to like that, you just go to the other side. Once again, put a little pressure on it and then just pop on the side and it comes off. Now, I may have not mentioned this, but it will be in the title and description. This is the Microsoft Elite Series 2 controller. It is well known to have buttons right here fail. So we're going to work on those today too. But that is just getting your cover off. And on the inside, you can see a spot like right here. Use my physical here. Right here and here is where they have the glue. And they'll put some here and here too. You don't have to really worry about it. It'll just pop right off. When you do pop it out, just make sure that these beauty rings right here and here stay in place. Other than that, you shouldn't have no problem. Not exactly difficult to get to this point. And as I was saying, we do have those screws that we need to take loose do have security feature. So let's see if we've got the right size. You know, most people would try this before, but nah, where's fun in that? Let's just go for it. We do it live. Well, and by live, I mean I'm going to record it. All right. Looks like this one is a T9 security. So we're going to just pop all of these off real quick. And by real quick, I mean, knowing me, it's going to take me 5 minutes, but they're in there pretty solid. They're not horrible. You can tell that they've got some sort of glue on them, or at least they've had it. Let's go with number 2. It should be, if I remember correctly, about 6 of these screws, and that's just to get the main casing off. This is taking all of the internal controls, like right here that you're seeing, and just taking them out of this case that's around it. But the screws themselves stand out pretty good. Everything on the inside's black except for the screws that are nice and bright silver, so you don't have to sit down and search for them. There are a couple right here, and these should be it. I am working where I can't see, so just to try to keep it in camera. Here, let me try this. This way it's somewhat. All right. And as always, anytime you're working on something like this, having a decent sized little mat to keep everything on is really helpful. Keep everything nice and neat. And that's that. Now, all of this internals just pops out of this. Now, like with the other case, it was probably glued at some point, so it's going to be a little sticky. You could probably pull this out with your hand. I'm just using that just to make sure I'm doing it right. So there you go. That's your internals. We will be working on this separately here in a minute. We're going to just set this completely off to the side to get it out the way. Same with this. This is what we're worried with now. Now, here we have 4 screws. Here, 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 and here. And they're a different size, of course. They are rather small. I hope I got this one. I'm going to guess it's a T5. It's a T5. Might be a T6. Yeah, T6. Sorry. So, yeah, it's a T6 size. All right, there are magnets under here, so you kind of got to watch it too. Here and here. No big deal. I don't think it'll cause any issues, but you will notice them there. We're going to do a couple of modifications while we got this opened up. Also, hopefully this won't be too long of a video, considering my internet now takes an hour and a half to 2 hours to upload a 20-minute video. I've been trying to shorten stuff up. This is another one of those uses where you want a good set of tweezers, because if not, these screws will go everywhere. And you don't really want to lose them, because you'll see why here when I pull this battery out. You need the tension on this thing from all directions. So if you lose one of these screws, you're not going to quite have what you need. And yep, what I thought was correct. Probably shouldn't use metal tweezers for this, but I ain't got no choice. Yeah, that's just not good. All right, so as you can tell from the profile, my battery is pregnant. That is not a good thing for a lithium ion battery. No, wait, lithium polymer battery. So, yeah, one of the cells in that bad boy has decided it no longer wants to be with us, at least one of them, and has bloated extremely. Rather pregnant. You put that in comparison to this one beside it, this being the good one, it's obvious. This one is dead meat. It's useless. That sound was the shit can that just went in. All right. So while we're apart, we're going to check some of this stuff out. This here is your connector for your battery. I'm just going to make sure that the connectors are good and clean. And to do so, we're going to use, I keep some rubbing alcohol in one of these little drippers. And of course, I keep a couple of Q-tips around to get that a little bit a little bit moistened up. I love that word, moistened. We're just going to, brush them off. Make sure that there's no gunk or fingerprints on it. And then use the dry side to finish it off. And drop that back in. Now, new batteries, of course, should just slide right there. Boom. No big deal. All said and done. We're going to go ahead and drop this in place. Now, once I have this done, I'm going to show you another little thing I'm going to do to ensure I have a little bit better connection. I'd like to know what caused that battery to do that, but batteries are batteries. They do it. I know as somebody who's messed with small batteries for quite some time for various other hobbies, at any given point, one of these batteries can draw too much amperage for whatever reason, and that's when you get a fat battery. Thankfully, this battery just got fat and didn't blow up. I'm guessing it had a safety in it because I've had nothing but issues with this battery for a couple of weeks. So I'm thinking it failed a while ago, and just the fact that I keep it on the charger was the only reason it had enough charge to keep me going as long as it did. All right. So this will be this part all said and done. I'm going to just make sure I've got these all tensioned right. You don't want to put them in too tight, but you definitely want them to be snug. So I'd recommend using one of these and holding it by this end so that you can't put but so much tension. Don't grab it like this because you can put a whole lot more torque than what this plastic can hold that way. But that should be said and done right there. Now, what we're going to do, because these connectors right here do connect, that's your power to your main board because it connects somewhere right in here. So just to ensure it, I'm going to give them a little bit of a stretch upward, put a little bit more tension on them, and then I'm going to re-clean them. Same with these, because these are connectors for the other battery parts. I'm going to do the same thing, and then I'm going to clean them. All good. No big deal. We can set this to the side for the moment because we're going to do a little bit more work in here while we're here. So I have troubles with these buttons here. So what I'm going to do is right here, you can see a little clip that I'm going to just pop up. Nothing major. You don't need any special tool. And that's going to loosen that up. Now, from there, you got these little plastic pieces. You want to set them out. And you're going to do the exact same thing we did before, only I'm going to get a little bit fresher drop of rubbing alcohol. We're going to put them right on it, right where that button is, because it just needs to try to sink into that button a little bit on both of them. And then we're going to snap this back into place so they're active. And then you're just going to work through them a little bit. All right, that seemed pretty solid. Now, back on this side, we got connectors here that since I've got it open, I'm going to go ahead and clean. I'm going to go ahead and clean the entire board because, why not? There's no use in having unnecessary dust and dirt in here. And if you've got it open anyway, it's not but a couple of minutes to do this. Now just make sure you use the highest percentage rubbing alcohol you've got, preferably 95 plus, so that it dries fast. Inside this board shouldn't ever really get too dirty, but you know. All right, that should be it. Now, I'm going to mute for a second because I'm going to use some compressed air to make sure I got this blown out and I don't want to blow y'all's eardrums. I'll be right back. And that should be done. Now, next step is, of course, we're going to put this back in here. Simple. Make sure everything stayed connected. No big deal. This should just pop right into place. I'm just trying to be easy with it because I don't want to mess this thing up. Something don't seem right. There it goes. Everything seems... This button does not feel right at all. I don't like it. Yeah, it's not seated. Something ain't right with that button. We're going to pull this back out and check it. All right, so why are you not working? All right, let's pull it apart. Well, we might as well. That's what we're here for. So yeah, as you can see, most everything is just a pop out on this. Just got to be easy with some spots because, of course, you don't want it to snap a ring or something. That should be it. Now, I'm not seeing this part right here that's on my hand, right there at my fingertip, is what actually makes contact to the button here. So I want to check the button while I've got it apart, make sure that's working. All right, the button is fine. So for whatever reason, this is not making the contact like it's supposed to. So of course, like always, got it apart, you might as well clean that. Could just be some grime in there holding it from moving, who knows. Generally speaking, though, most of the time, if I own a controller that gets to doing like this one's doing, I just replace it. The problem is, this is not a cheap controller. All right, so now let's see if I can get this thing back together. Here's the fun part. Wow, that went together way too easy. This whole system right here is sticking and I can't figure out why. I might just have to roll with it. Maybe it just has to be broke in. I don't understand why it's doing that. It's like it's missing a spring. But there is no spring. This side has a spring. No, this piece right here is the spring. Okay, whatever. So yep, apparently it's worn. I'm gonna have to order a new piece. No big deal. So let's go ahead and do it. My next step I was planning on doing. Now, I showed y'all these little pieces that came in. I know that's gonna be really hard to see. But let's see if it show up there. Small piece of plastic. I'm gonna fold one of these ends in to double the thickness. And I'm going to put that in that way to where the double thickness part is between the button itself and the activation. All that's going to do is give it just a little bit shorter throw, because I have noticed the sensitivity of it's pretty bad lately. So this should up the sensitivity. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, even though this side has been working fine. Now, once again, I am doing this kind of cross-eyed, looking over top of a mic with a bad light in my eye, but I think we got it. So, snapped in. Still don't like it. It doesn't. Doesn't have a crisp return that I'm looking for. But I might just have to put it together and try it and see, because who knows? Controllers do what controllers want to do. I'm going to try snapping it in this way this time, see if it works better. All right, it's in there. All right, so it has to be fully in place for that spring to work, because everything's working fine, as you can hear. Cool. Knowledge is always awesome. Next, let's try, see if we can finish this thing up and be done with it. Hell, so far it's 25 minutes. This is only going to take me 2 days to upload. So by the time you see this, I will be done played multiple games on this controller. I hope. Maybe. If it works. If not, then I got to go back to playing on that crappy basic bitch one until I can get another one. I do not like the basic Xbox controller. It's not the controller itself, it's the trigger pull for your main triggers on that thing are god awful long. I'm just talking way too long. Now on this one, I am going to use a little more torque, because this does actually hold the main part together to keep the battery in contact. And this is apparently sized close, but not dead on, because I can't get a complete bite on this. So let's see, if this is a T9, it feels like it ain't going all the way down to get a good bite. So it's probably a T8.5-ish. Who knows? They like to do odd stuff to make it more difficult to fix. That's all right. It's in there solid now. Last 2 screws. All right, there we go with that. Hopefully that little modification I did by doubling that plastic thickness shortens that throw up just that little hair more that I need. Make it a little more solid. Especially when you're playing something like Fortnite or Call of Duty or something like that, where your bumpers switching from weapon 1 to weapon 2 could make the difference on if you survive or not. I wanted to make sure I have the best chance, because I have had that issue with push the bumper and don't switch a weapon because I didn't push it in far enough or whatnot, or it didn't activate, or who knows. Done, and done. Now, when it comes to your case, I mean, you can see it when you look at it from the inside. You just got basic clips. Connecting them is just, and that's it. We now have a completed, we now have the Elite Series 2 complete. Let me see. As you can tell, all the buttons are nice and clicky like I want them to be. And yes, the bumpers are actually just a hair shorter, and it's noticeable to me. So that should be it. We should be ready to play back like we were before, to where I can cuss at something other than a controller. And that is said and done. 1 controller repaired. So this is, as I said before, the Elite Series 2. And I think it's called Dream Controller, make this. They sold this version with this custom case, which is also why I'm using these separated, because I don't want to mess that up. Really good controller, except for the few little issues I've had. Could just be from wear and tear, because I have used this thing for 2 solid years. All of that said and done, I do want to thank y'all for dropping in, if y'all did, to watch me fix a basic bitch controller. And I will see y'all the next time.
Please let me in.
No. Be gone with him. Come on, boys!
What in the hell was that all about?
Get off my